Okay, everyone, welcome back. Season 2, Episode 6 of the podcast. My name is Ian Fraser.
Matt Boyce.
Mike Marty-Savage.
And we have a great guest from the UK, where our last 3 guests have been.
Yeah, we have been on a little bit of an English theme, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, and a little bit of a combination of different sort of roles that these individuals have. And today we have a fellow YouTuber.
That's right, yeah, Mr. Peter Finch.
One of the best sort of out there.
Definitely. So probably in sort of your top 5, no matter who you ask, in terms of golf YouTube. He's been doing it for quite a while. Yeah. Definitely one of the original guys out there. And we've had a ton of requests to have Pete on.
I know.
Luckily, most of them came from our Rick Shields podcast. Yeah. And we had already scheduled Pete to be on. So
that's great.
We're able to sort of fulfill everyone's requests right away.
Yeah, Mikey, you kind of heard of Pete before, and sort of, have you followed any of his stuff?
Yeah, I mean, even from like the college days, everyone would be watching either Rick Shields or Peter Finch. And
yeah, I think that's a good point.
Some of his, I've got a smart TV in my room, so when you have the YouTube on, you see a lot of his name that pops up, and some of the stuff that he's done with, when he was using like Tiger irons a couple months ago. And I find he travels quite a bit as well and does some really cool, like different areas where he's playing golf or doing some challenges. So I think his content's really, really eye-catching. It keeps you entertained. It's not one of those where it gets, dragged out for a long period of time. Yeah. It's short and to the point. And, I can see why he's really, really popular. So I'm excited to chat. This is my first time, speaking with him. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, this should be a good one for sure.
All right, well, let's get Pete on in.
Oh, thanks for having me down. Really appreciate it.
Not at all. So you're living in Manchester right now. Obviously, same situation as us, locked down. Are you demented?
Well, the argument could be made that I've always been that. But I think it's weird, really, because in the last few days, it's probably started to tell a little bit more, because I've started to get to the end of the list of stuff that I've wanted to do for a while. But one of the fortunate things is I've just got a couple of guys who started with me, so kind of like a brand manager and a videographer and editor. So we've been taking that time to go through all the essential stuff, which I've personally not done in like years. So go through reports, go through the data, go through all the stuff, the essential stuff, which will help me move forward, going forward, but which I've simply not done yet. So it's been good in that sense. It's just been a bit cruel as far as the weather back here has been absolutely perfect, and I've just been like wanting to get out and film, wanting to get out and play, not being able to. But listen, we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat for the right reasons as well. So it's
health and safety first is primary for all of us, isn't it? That's the thing. We're in the same boat here, Pete. We were. March is normally not a great month for us, and when the lockdown occurred kind of in the middle of March, we actually were having some incredibly good weather.
There was some bonus days in there that we don't usually get.
Definitely. So we would have been maybe 2-3 weeks ahead of schedule with the golf season up here. So we were in a situation where our courses hadn't opened yet. Yeah. So we were just about to get going the season, get out on the course. I mean, cabin fever had been in all winter long, and then obviously we lost the ability to do so. So it's not ideal.
No, it's for sure. It snowed a bit today, actually. It was snowing.
Oh, really? Oh, it's been like 20, 21 degrees here today.
Wow.
Lovely.
Just a tease. That's all it is. I know. Well, Pete, let's kind of go back a little bit. Let's kind of go into your sort of origin story. I caught a little bit on the last Golf Bidder Challenge that you had with Mr. Shields that you won. Congratulations on that. Atta boy.
Thank you very much. It's just it's what I expect now, to be honest. I've got very high expectations of my game.
Very little excitement these days by winning another challenge against them.
Hey, listen, I know how all the champions, the ones who dominate their sport really feel now. I'm just looking for that new challenge. But I've just got to take it one game at a time. Can't get carried away. Just got to keep working hard.
The reality is you hold the most important thing of all, which is the bragging rights.
Yes.
That's the reality. Forever. The bragging rights are key.
It's such. I mean, it's hard to kind of keep my motivation up to practice and to play after each year after the Golf Bidder Challenge. It's kind of tough.
I know. That's it. The 5th major.
The fifth major. Well, to be fair, at the moment, it's the only major.
I know. It's so true. So when I was watching that last one, and you talked about your putter, and that was something that you used. I'm familiar with the Faldo series and how good of an opportunity and sort of how good those events were back in the UK. Maybe tell us a little bit about junior golf into turning pro, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't. To be fair, I think as all golf pros should admit, I think it's very rare that this wouldn't happen. Is that when I was growing up and when I started to play golf, the first thing was like, well, can I turn pro? Can I play on tour? Can I be a really good player? I was slightly, I'm not going to say hampered because that's not the right word, but I was playing quite a few sports at the same time, and I was always much more into my football than I was into my golf. And I was all right. I was all right at football. I was pretty decent. I think if I'd have carried on, I could have been semi-pro. That type of level. And then at the same time, I was playing golf, and I actually got injured playing football. And at that time, it was a back injury as well, so I couldn't kind of get around playing golf. And I actually missed golf probably more than the football side. And I thought, well, that's quite interesting. And then once I started playing golf again, and the team that I was playing for football-wise wasn't doing as well, all of a sudden I kind of realized that actually with golf, I can't blame anyone else if things aren't going well. So in a kind of perverse, sick kind of way, that appealed to me a little bit more. So then I started to take golf a lot more serious. Started to play more and more and more. Started to play at a decent-ish kind of amateur level. Play with some decent players, and I think at that point I realised that there was another level of amateur golf that I just wasn't at. So I then started to kind of commit to that a little bit more when I was like 16, 17, until I got my handicap down. I think it was down to 3, and then pretty much when I got down to 3, I effectively stopped playing, because that's when I was like, well, actually, I've got down to that level where I could do my PGA. Yeah. So then did my PGA, and as soon as I did my PGA, quit golf for 2 years, and then came back to it. And moved up to Manchester, and then I've kind of followed that progress up to where I am now. So
where was home before Manchester?
Preston, proud Preston. Oh my God, couldn't wait to get out. It's actually it's weird really, because home is always home. It doesn't really matter where you come from, does it? When you go back, you kind of you learn to appreciate it a little bit more. But I was desperate to leave, so I look for a job. I was with my girlfriend at the time. She was moving down to Shropshire, so I was having a look for assistance jobs in Shropshire. Actually moved down to Shropshire with my ex. That wasn't a good idea.
Didn't go well.
But it didn't last overly long, no. But I stayed down in Shropshire for 10 years, and I think that's where I met my kind of fiance. That's where I think I'll end up in my later years. And then once I was down there, did my PGA. Yeah. And once I'd done my PGA and I was at Private Members Club, I thought, God, this might not be for me. Can I do something else for a while? So I retrained as a journalist, was a journalist full time for a few years. And that gave me, it was by far the worst, most stressful thing I've ever done. And it gave me a very good perspective on actually how lucky I am to work in golf and how lucky people are to be in golf, full stop, to be honest.
One of the things I love about...
Honestly, I might have mentioned it before, I've had an afternoon nap and I'm off on one. I've had a bit of an orange juice as well. I think the sugars are flowing.
He's ready to go.
When was the last time you had an afternoon nap, eh?
That's hilarious. I've been guilty of a few in the last few weeks too.
Well, I think one of the things that's great about doing these podcasts is we're getting to know more about people. That's such an interesting thing that journalism was in there prior to. There was sort of football, then there was golf, then there was journalism. And traveling a lot up and down. And it's not like you're a Manchester boy born and bred. It just, that was always a golfer. It's good.
It's really interesting. I mean, Rick told us that he was a drama school standout. That was the nugget from him yesterday.
Fully believe that.
So we were hoping that people said that kind of explained why he ended up in front of the camera. Would you say journalism for you, and then obviously moving back into golf, did that factor into you saying, I want to start a YouTube channel, I want to be kind of in front of the camera to any degree?
No, not at all. To be honest, I was quite a how to put this. I mean, when I was living in Shropshire, it's not, if you've ever been there, it's not the most technologically advanced county in the world. It's very much, farmers' fields and some good pubs. That's kind of what it is, which is why I like it so much.
Exactly.
But when I started doing my journalism, it was very much wanted to be a print sports journalist. That's kind of the avenue that I wanted to go down, and then eventually wanted to combine that with golf. And the the newspaper I got a job at, basically the openings that they had, I did everything apart from sport. And honestly, I mean, listen, journalists get a bad rap, and in quite a few instances for a good reason. But oh man, honestly, it was so stressful. So when I left that, I started coaching at a driving range again, and I was in a very similar situation. So when I'd left my old golf course, it was because it really wasn't busy. Again, Shropshire, very quiet county for golf, and wanted to do something a little bit more exciting. Wanted to see the world, I suppose, in a weird kind of way. It's very PG movie kind of way. He was sat in the office and he wanted to see the world, so he joined a newspaper and became a journalist. Such an immature story. Yeah, exactly. What an idiot. And then when I came back to coaching at a driving range, again, it was a similar situation. So it was really a last gasp opportunity that a job came up at Trafford Golf Centre where Rick was based. And I went to college with Rick, and went to college with Andy Carter and Sam Mellor, and they were all at the same place. So I was like, well, what's it like up there? What's it like living in Manchester? They said the lessons were pretty decent. Went up there. Rick was by far the busiest coach, and the only thing that he was doing differently was YouTube videos. Right. So I could see that people were watching his videos, coming in for lessons, and I thought, well, maybe this is something I could do. Maybe this is something I could try. I've got to be honest, to that point, I had a Facebook profile, but apart from that, I was not really there on social media, maybe a bit of Twitter. It wasn't something which interested me. I didn't understand the power, the reach, and the implications of what it would be. And bear in mind, this was 6 years ago now. And if you think about what social media has become in that time frame, it was a lot of, there was a lot of luck involved to just be in the right place at the right time near someone else who had already been doing it for a while. So, if I hadn't have made that move up to Manchester, I wouldn't have done it. It was simple as that. It's just a bit of time and a bit of luck. Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I think moving around as you talked about, it's, you met your fiance when you're on a different journey down in Shropshire. You've found your sort of career path when you were really coming up to do something a little bit different. Life is like that, isn't it? It really is. You just never know what it's going to throw at you.
It's very true.
Yeah.
So, kind of early days with YouTube, was YouTube kind of the first thing you dabbled in with videos, or were you on a different platform producing first, or was that the opening kind of?
Nah, just straight to YouTube. Just straight in. And I think what helped me in some respects is I'm pretty independent in many ways. So I don't like asking for help, and it's a detriment in many cases. But what I did is I saw what Rick was doing. I didn't want to ask him for help. I wanted to try and figure out how to do it myself.
Sure.
And I learned how to film, to edit, to upload, to do all these different things, basically just by trial and error. So my first year on producing videos, I mean, I look back at them now and they are like truly, truly terrible, but it taught me a great deal. So, from doing it all myself and just like working hard at it, that laid the foundation to what I've been able to do now. So I wouldn't change that. I sometimes think, oh God, what if I'd discovered about YouTube 8 years ago? Like, what position would I be in now? But it's a hypothetical question, and it's a pointless one to ask. Just got to focus on the here and now and where I can go going forward.
That's kind of what we all said in every chat we've had with anyone on YouTube is the same thing. It's always like, well, I could have done this earlier. I could have been better at it then. It's like, well, could you have been? Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, everyone has a learning process. We'll look back at our first videos and go, like, what the hell are those? Crap. Rick said the same thing. We were talking to Alex Etches said the same thing. Crossfield says, like, literally everyone says the same thing. It's like, the best part about YouTube is that you can actually do that. Like, no one's starting a television show and going, my first season was terrible. I didn't know what I was doing. You just be off TV. I think that's why YouTube is cool, because you actually get to develop your skill set and your personality like at the same time. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why people get so attached to people on YouTube, is they've actually seen you from day one 6 years ago. And now they see you. Yeah, they'll remember Peter Finch 6 years ago, and they'll see how far you've come, and they're more attached probably for that reason.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's an authenticity about it, which isn't, especially from if you compare it to mainstream media, to people on YouTube. Effectively, what you are watching on YouTube is a genuine character. I mean, there's a few different channels and a few different kind of areas where people are putting on a show. Not really in golf. We're talking about other areas here.
True.
But generally speaking, in golf, you are speaking to just a normal, genuine person with no real agenda, and I think that's very attractive to people who tend to get turned off by the over commercialization of mainstream media, which is understandable. And from my point of view, it's been a good thing, because it's just allowed me to be myself and actually benefit from that, which is crazy, really, if you think about it.
It is a bit crazy when you think about it. Well, I think the access to your favorite YouTubers in general, like, you can't access your favorite movie star, your favorite TV.
Yeah, it's kind of reality TV.
It is a little bit like reality TV.
And we obviously, Pete, we saw, how well reality TV obviously was done back in the UK and everywhere else over here as well. But, in a form, it is a more real version of reality TV.
It absolutely is.
It's just raw.
And you can actually speak back and forth with people in the comments. You can live stream. You can basically literally speak to people. The last thing I want to ask you before we move on to sort of a different segment was the first time you were doing something, or you were somewhere where someone kind of like came up to you and went, "Oh, Peter, I saw your videos, like, love your channel," and kind of gave you a fan moment?
I think there's a couple of answers to that, really. The first one that did surprise me was when it actually started to work from a coaching standpoint. So people actually phoning up and saying, "Oh, hi, Pete, I've seen your video." And this was what really confused me, to be honest. I've seen your video on, fixing a slice on YouTube. That's the problem that I have in my swing. Really liked your video. Could I come in for a lesson?
Right.
And I was like, well, you've just watched a video on how to fix it. Why do you want to come in? I didn't obviously say this. I was like, yes, please. But it was like, well, why do you want to come in? And what I actually learned from that early on is that the more you put yourself out there, the more you put content out there, the more you actually provide value to the person watching, the more likely they are to actually try and bring it back to you. So that was when I kind of first noticed that. Now it's obviously the same, but to a much bigger level. As far as people coming up to me, probably because at golf courses and at golf facilities, that you get that quite a bit. People coming up and saying hello, watching the videos, which is great. But probably the weirdest one was a fair few years ago now in Edinburgh. I was on an ice ring in the middle of Edinburgh. I won't go into it too much, but it was basically just a guy stopped me on the ice ring and was like, "Oh, Pete, blah, blah." I just started chatting away to me, but he didn't introduce himself as like, know me off YouTube. It's just like he knew me. So I was just like chatting away, and my brain's like going, "Oh God, I don't know who's this guy. Like, has he had a lesson? Do I know him from my childhood? I just don't bloody know." So I started to panic a little bit. I think I was suffering from kind of some memory loss. And then he drops in about some kind of random video I did ages like before that. I was like, okay, get you. What's your name? Sorry.
Dave,
thank you. It's cool though, because that's one of the weirdest. The weirdest and the very best thing is when someone comes up, starts speaking to you as though they've known you for years, because effectively when they've been watching the videos, they kind of know me, they know my personality, and the style of the videos I do is very much kind of what I'm up to as well.
Yeah.
So that relationship already exists from their side, so they can feel they can come. They feel that they can come up and chat without being awkward, and that is amazing, and it's fantastic for certainly for coaching as well, because I forget how awkward it used to be, kind of welcoming the lesson.
Required.
You know, and just like getting to know them, and if there's already that perspective that they're coming into a lesson and they know everything about you. Well, to an extent, obviously. It's kind of like, oh, well, all I need to do now is get to know them. And it's so good. It's so much better than kind of having to like go around the range, touting for lessons. Oh, God, I used to hate that. Oh.
No one liked that. It's the worst.
Terrible.
I think one thing, you know, Fraz, especially you and I can speak on is like when you first started TXG and we didn't even think of YouTube or any social media, you know, we just had an Instagram account and we're slowly building some information. And then you guys started the videos, and I was in one really shitty video, and then to where it is today, it's like,
it was fine, Mikey.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was to see the amount of people that from all over the world, customers that fly in and just come to see us and get work done from us because of YouTube. Like, I still think in a way, social media is the Wild West. Like, no one really knows how it works, why it works. It just works. So, you know, to see channels like your Pete's and ours is to me, like being from kind of day one to see it to today, it's weird. I mean, guys who send me messages on Instagram, I find it weird. You know, they want me to build clubs for them, and it's just like, you know, I'm just a normal old guy. Like, don't worry about me. But the guys love it, and they're sending me notes like, Mikey, how are you, buddy? And it's like, I don't even know who you are. You're from Finland, for God's sakes. But
I love it.
But Pete, one question I had was, you know, obviously the media is a big part of what you do, but coaching and playing are still really large parts of your life. Do you play as much as you'd like?
No, nowhere near as much. I think the problem with certainly getting that balance is between, you know, how much time do you put to coaching, how much time do you put to playing, how much time do you put to all these different areas, and certainly with golf. I mean, every golfer kind of watching, listening to this knows that golf especially is a very hard sport to not play for a couple of weeks, come back and then be at that same level. You know, it's not as simple as you pick up where you left off. You know, if you leave it for a few weeks, something's going to go missing. You know, you need to keep up that consistency in the practice, and it just takes time. Like, golf is it's a slow sport to practice. It's a slow sport to play. So keeping the balance is pretty difficult. Fortunately, like I think I mentioned before, I've got a couple of guys now who work with me. That gives me enough time to actually free up some space to practice in a little bit more. And I'm in a lucky situation where I've started to build a little bit more of a series around playing, so I can play and I can practice, and you know,
that's
call it work. Call it work. Yeah. Oh God, I'm going to have to go hit 100 balls. What a dilemma. Let me take my camera.
Smart though, because people want to see it. People want to follow your journey, and me and Ian have had this conversation many times. I think the best videos you make are the ones you enjoy making the most. Yeah. So for you, if you really like playing and preparing for tournaments, the reality is that's going to come through in your video. And I bet you that's probably what people like watching the most on your channel, is that stuff, because you're the most into it.
Yeah, and it's maybe one thing which sets me a little bit apart from the other guys on YouTube as well, is the fact that I'm really the only one of the bigger channels who are actually still playing. And I understand why, because it's difficult, and it's kind of hard as well, because if you're playing in a tournament and you play bad and you're kind of building a content stream around playing bad, it's kind of like turning that camera on saying, guys, you know, shot 78, it was crap. Like what? Like what am I meant to say? And
it's tough.
One of the things that actually surprises me though is when you play bad. There's so many people who are on there and they're just like, oh, you know, don't worry about it, Pete. You've got this, you know, stay positive, stay strong, rah, rah, rah. And then the next video, if you shoot a good score, they're there back saying, oh, I told you, Pete, I told you could do it. You've got this. And it's great. It's crazy. It's like having just like this big band of people supporting me playing in a local PJ event. It's so random, but it's great. And it is the way that I best communicate as well. So if I play, I learn something, I can then turn that into a coaching video. And that's the best way for me. If I can show someone, if I can do a video saying, you know, if you want to improve your scores, what I've learned in the last 2 weeks is doing this type of putting drill, for example, you know, off the top of my head, you know, practice this drill, and this has shown within my stats, within my play, that this will improve this aspect of your game. And I think that's a much more powerful message than me just coming on screen and saying, you should change this in your game.
Yeah.
Well, why? You know, why should I change that in my game? Oh, because I said so. I can actually, you know, turn around and say, you should change this in your game because, like, I can show you. I can show you it works. So that's the big benefit, I think, of actually still playing in comps and still trying to improve as a golfer.
And obviously part of that journey as a golfer was the Quest to Qualify series. And, you know, is that still the main goal as a player, just to, you know, to get that place in the Open Championship? Is that what you hold as your ultimate goal?
Yeah, I mean, that is the ultimate goal. But at the same time, I understand that, you know, the chances of that happening are very slim. One of the massive positives about Open qualifying, it is what it is. Anyone can give it a go. And in a weird kind of way, you're literally 3 really good rounds away from qualifying for the Open, which is it's a beautiful, tantalizing thing to say, and it's a very easy thing to say. You know, the practicality of it is a lot different than that. But for me as well, it's more about, yes, qualifying for the Open would be incredible. It would be an absolutely amazing, certainly for me, it'd be an amazing achievement. But it's also, over the last kind of 3 years while I've been doing it, it's seeing my scores improve, seeing how much my technique has changed, seeing how much I've learned over that time period. The Open is definitely the ultimate destination, but to be honest, the road to get there is the whole point. You know, I'm seeing so many more places on my trip to hopefully the final destination. But if I never reach there, like it's not the end of the world. I want to, but
it makes a lot of sense. And I hear a similar version of that same thing from a lot of people who especially document what they do. So someone who's very influential to me is a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk, and he always talks about buying the New York Jets. But he's like, I'm fully aware that I might never buy the New York Jets. Yeah. What I really love is the journey to buy the New York Jets. And I love the journey. I love the process. I love the hustle, the daily grind. It's just, I just set myself something that far ahead that even if I get 3/4 of the way there, I'm going to have had an unbelievable life. And goal setting is so important in setting yourself a real dream goal, because, you know, even if you don't get there, you're going to have succeeded in a lot of other things.
It's very true. And you should have enjoyed the journey as much as possible, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. FSX Challenge.
I was just going to say, we have to talk about the FSX
We have to talk about the FSX Challenge. I mean, there's not many people can reach the pinnacle of their sport.
The pinnacle.
When it comes to the FSX Challenge, there's one name atop of that leaderboard.
Did you see Rick's attempt recently? I think the flop wall is gone. Can you confirm that 2020 update, the flop wall has been removed?
I don't know. The last time I went on it, it was still there.
It's breaking news.
It was not there.
It's not there in Rick's video. I'll check it later. We updated one of our computers to 2020 FSX. It wasn't in his video. So unless it was a one-time glitch, you could be looking at.
I know.
Was that a favorite or a hindrance for you? That 20.
I didn't like it. Well, no, I didn't like it until I figured out how to do it.
True enough.
That's the simple fact. Yeah, same as anything. I don't like it until I actually found the key for it.
That's fair.
I didn't realize I'd been taken down. God, I've got to be honest. I don't really want to go back and try it again.
I don't blame you. Well, so it was kind of a couple year journey from your first attempt to your world record.
Yeah, definitely. God knows how many hours I poured into that thing.
We can understand. Yeah.
It just gets a little addictive, doesn't it?
Well, it's addictive. I mean,
it gets addictive.
So recently, the two of us kind of just got into it just for fun. You must have got what, 52 points one day?
Yeah, 54 was the best I got. But I'm excited. I live quite a long way away from our studio, Pete, and we're just building a second location, which is literally a mile from the house.
Yeah.
And I know that the winter time is going to be spent
time.
just going FSX crazy, and ultimately the goal is 70, isn't it? You got to trying to get 70 points has got to be the ultimate goal.
Were you 62?
64
or 64?
64, I think it was. Yeah,
64. So basically, you got fives on everything. So 6 threes and the rest fives.
I think so. Yeah.
Nope, that's not the math. That's way off.
No, you would have get fives and everything but three.
So 3 threes and the rest fives. Yeah, that's crazy.
A heck of a score. I'd love to just segue a little bit into your equipment. You've made a change recently. You're now a brand agnostic player. You're completely sort of just doing what's best for your game. Tell us about that process.
Yeah, it was a weird one really, because I was in a situation where I'd been with TaylorMade for a year, and I've got to be honest, I could have happily carried on with TaylorMade, for a long, long time. Like the guys and the girls there, and like the equipment and everything it was great. It was like there was literally no problems. But the one avenue I found very difficult to figure out was because it was a paid sponsorship. I think if I'd have asked them, they would have let me kind of review other clubs and like try other clubs out for specific videos. They are very, very down to earth. They understand the situation. But for me, I would have found it very difficult to remain impartial if I'm testing out a club, and to be fair for the audience watching as well, if I'm testing a club out and it's like a bad club, it's crap, I don't like it. And I did a video to that extent saying, I don't think it's that great, blah, blah, blah. Like, people are very much entitled to turn around and say, well, you're only saying that because you're sponsored by someone else.
Right.
Would you say the same thing if TaylorMade brought a club out which you didn't like? And I don't know. Like, would I? I'm not sure, because at the end of the day, if this company is giving me money to play their products, something comes out which I don't like, would I actually say anything about that? Probably not. It's human nature. You're not gonna slap away the hand that's feeding you, or whatever the saying is. So from my point of view, I thought it was just going to be a lot better for the content and a lot easier for me to remain impartial if I didn't have that association with a major brand. So it was nothing to do with not liking TaylorMade. It was a bit of a wrench to actually say no to carry on with them, to be honest. But what it's allowed me to do is just create so much more content around different clubs, and also working with all these different companies. They all bring their own ideas and some ideas that they want to have. And I've been over the last few weeks chatting to so many different companies about so many different ideas which wouldn't have been possible if I was just sticking with TaylorMade. So from that standpoint, it's worked out great, and it's just allowing me to experiment and test all these different clubs, which has been it's just a golfer's dream, basically.
Yeah.
I've watched a few of the build your bag. Are you finished with building your bag? Have you got 14 in there, or you still got a couple to go?
Just my putter. Okay. So I've got a load of Scotties in my room, some even rolls, and about 60 other putters.
Can you take us through what you've picked, the other 13 clubs?
Yeah. So I've back's just out, Rich.
That's okay.
I've got Sim Driver, which I was, to be honest, I was quite surprised about how much better it was in comparison to the other clubs that I tested. So I was expecting it to be quite even, but for whatever reason, head shaft combination, how it goes. Just it fitted me best during the test, and it was amazing. I'm really looking forward to actually just getting out on the course and Hitting it again. Went for the G410 3-wood, just absolute rocket and just incredibly like accurate.
Yes, it is.
I just can't miss with it, which again, it was quite a surprise at how much more I appreciated it than the other ones I tested. Went for Mizuno driving iron, Mizuno irons, MP20s. That was the only club. The other clubs, the irons, that I thought, you know what, I'm not going to do a multiple test. I'm just going to get a set of Mizunos.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was just kind of like I've never had a set of Mizunos. You know, I've always wanted a set, and it was just like, from a content standpoint, I was looking through and I was like, well, you know, what is the one set of irons that literally everyone would want? And it's you know, a set of Mizunos. You know, no one's today. I don't think anyone's ever turned around and said, "Oh, you know, these feel crap," or "Oh, God, I don't like these." You know, everyone likes Mizunos, and I was like, "Well, there must be a reason. There must be a reason why." So yeah, it was great. I loved it, and I got fitted at a really cool centre down Bearwood Lakes here in the UK, and then wedges, got the Vokies, and then the putter is the only one remaining now.
TBD. Nice.
Very nice. Yeah, on the Mizunos, Pete, what did you go with? Did you go with the blade? Did you go with the MMC? What did you get? Combo?
I got M20 up to the blade up to the 8, and then the MMC from the 7.9 to the 4.
Yeah. Mikey, you have almost the same set, no? You've got
MMCs. I did a full set of MMCs. I'm the same boat as you, Pete. I've never played a set of Mizunos, and when they released MP20 photos, I kissed my rep and, you know, as many times as I could to get a set, but I've been happy with them. I mean, I played Mira 501s last year, and I don't miss them as much as I thought I would. The Mizuno stuff is very, very impressive. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I was semi gutted when I got fitted into the split set though. I wanted to be that guy who walks out of there with all blades, but the MMCs are they're great. So good. Good.
Not many tour players even playing full bag of blades now anyway. So you're not like you're, you know, not in good company anyway.
I know, but it's kind of like sad. It is a bit sad because I was like, you know, but what's going to look better? Like what's shinier? Like what's going to look better on Instagram? But yeah, the fitters fortunately taught me around from being an idiot.
Performance first. That's exactly. Well, and life as a YouTuber has obviously given you some great opportunities to attend various events and meet, you know, so many people that I'm sure you would admit that, you know, you wouldn't have had the opportunity to do. Maybe tell us about some of those coolest sort of opportunities and experiences you've had and invites from certain companies.
To be honest, I mean, getting to all the different events it's cool, but it's more what's the best way to phrase this? It's more the acceptance and the acknowledgement of people knowing who you are when you get to the event. So like the first, like one of the first opens that we went to kind of after starting to do the YouTube stuff is the coolest thing for me about the open, and what many people do, is they go down to the range, stand on the range, see the players kind of hit the shots, and then look over kind of wistfully at the tour trucks, and you're like, oh, you know, I wonder what's going on in there. Oh, I'd love to get down there, blah, 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 blah. And I think was it at Birkdale? It was Spieth at Birkdale. Mm-hmm. When was the one before that? Was that Stenson at Troon?
26.
Troon was 16.
So Troon, and I think it was that one. It's just like going down to the range and kind of having to wander around. But then someone from I think it was like the Wilson tour truck, something random, kind of like called us over and was like, oh, you know, do you want to come in? Do you want to have a look around? And all of a sudden you're behind the ropes, wandering around the range, you know, a couple of feet away from, you know, the tour pros who, you know, watch up telly and like getting really excited just to be in that situation. And like just wondering, like a few years ago, there's no chance I'd be here in any kind of way. And again, it's just I kind of keep thinking of like all the opens I've been to now, all the ranges that I've been on. I think the last one at Carnoustie, I was in the Sky Zone and just wonder. It's just like, it is crazy. It is mental. And then you get all the opportunities to go, you know, to go traveling to all these places, which, I just wouldn't be able to afford for a start, and wouldn't have had any reason to go to apart from to make videos. It's crazy. There's so many. I mean, I was having a look at it the other day. I might not be able to see that kind of map up on the wall. I've just got
see it.
Kind of loads of pins stuck in of all the different places that I managed to get to in the last 6 years.
Very cool.
And it's great because you can look at them and you can think, oh God, what did I do that? Oh yeah, I remember. And it's just all these kind of memories come flooding back, and it is amazing. I think certainly the last month, last 3 weeks when we've been stuck inside, that's one thing which it's kind of kept me going a little bit, in the sense that I'm looking at that and I'm just feeling very, grateful to being able to do all that stuff and look forward to the opportunities which are going to come up, once we're out of lockdown. It's crazy. It's amazing.
Yeah, take away the freedom,
Honestly, sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm rambling.
That was the question.
It's best when these conversations take their own path.
It's not meant to be structured, Pete. Don't
Absolutely,
worry. It's not meant to be structured.
100%. And
I'm blown away.
The time to reflect that obviously this has afforded us, and the value of our freedom to go and do what we want when we want to do it, it's got to be a huge thing that people will acknowledge coming out of this.
I think so. It's hard to ignore the degree to which life has changed that quickly. I mean, 3 weeks or a month ago, we all kind of thought, not sure what's going to happen. And a month later, everyone's lives are completely different. And I think, all things being considered, most of us are pretty lucky that we'll probably be able to get back to normal life in the summertime. But it definitely makes you appreciate being able to get on a plane and go play some golf in a tropical location, or go play with your friends or whatever, go to the movies, do anything.
Definitely. Pete, you like to take a little trip north up into God's country, and I've seen you playing some golf in Gleneagles, and tell us about some of those trips, because you're playing some of the real good ones when you get up north.
Oh, mate, honestly, well, I would move there tomorrow if I could. I love it up there. I mean, I kind of get this clip off. So I've got the map in the background there. The only other map that I've got up is over. Where is it? Over there, and that's that's map of Scotland. That's the only other.
Oh, okay.
That's the only other map I've got in my house. I love it. I mean, obviously the golf courses are the big pull, but it's more than that. It's just the scenery, the wildness of it up there, and generally the Scottish people. But the trips that I've had up there are. So I mean, Gleneagles is literally like,
it's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, it's just it's heaven, and like you get to St Andrews and places like this, and you just never want to leave. I mean, and again, like talking about opportunities that YouTube, social media is giving. I played the old course twice in the last couple of years. There's a guy called Ali Love up there who runs a travel company, St Andrews for golf, and he's kind of invited me up the last couple of years to get in on spare tee times that he's had, and it's just like, it's random. I managed to take my dad last year as well, and again, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to do that otherwise.
Yeah, special memories.
Yeah, and I mean that. It's weird, really, because when I tend to go up there, I tend to gravitate towards the East Coast, and because that's where most of the links courses are that I really like, and normally the weather's kind of a bit better on the east side. But
I can vouch for that. Growing up in the West Coast, Pete, I can 100% vouch for that. I used to work at Turnberry before moving to Canada, so I can absolutely vouch for the West Coast is significantly dry. But you're right. Get over to that West Coast if you can, and get in, Turnberry and Prestwick and Troon and Western Gales, Glasgow Gales. I mean, obviously Dundonald as well. Incredible golf on that West Coast.
I played Turnberry, and it was just after it had been remodeled and redone. I hadn't actually played it prior to that, and played it on a literally a perfect day. Like, it was perfect sunshine. It was about 20 degrees, not a breath of wind. Yeah. So by the time we got round to the halfway hut, bloody lighthouse. Yeah. By the time we got around to this halfway hut, it was just like you sat overlooking the ocean, and it was just like a pond. It was so still. It was so sunny. I think we let 7 or 8 groups through. Like, we sat there, few beers, bit of something to eat. The marshal actually came around in the end, was like, listen, you are going to have to
move you on, Mr. Finch.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, right. I mean, to be fair, I was playing terrible as well. I think I just come back for an injury there. I was playing awful, but I was like, it didn't matter. Like, it was that kind of place where it just didn't matter. The only other time that I felt like that on the golf course was West Coast as well, actually, on Arran. Have you been over to Arran and kind of played over there?
I haven't. No, I played on the island of Islay, and they have the course called the Macrae there, which if you haven't been to that, the Macrae is so special. But Arran's amazing.
It's got distilleries there, which I think would be my first port call. Yeah, on Arran, it's got this little 12-hole called Shishkin.
Shishkin, yeah.
Which is like you play it and it's bloody bonkers. The course here, it's up and down. It's like it's a madness. But I played there. I played there as a junior. I think it was like 15, 16, and it was a similar thing. It was just an evening where it was perfectly still, and there was I remember, you just like recall like certain memories so clearly. And it was down. There's a par 3 which goes kind of down the side of these massive cliffs, and then you get right into the coastline. And again, it was perfectly still, and there was a cormorant out there it must have been a good 200 meters out there, and it took off, and you could hear it taking off on the water because it was so still. Wow. And just like, oh man, and just at that moment, I was like, wow, why am I going to want to go anywhere else apart from Scotland, like, ever again? Yeah. And then it started raining, and I was like, all right, okay. That's why people leave. That's why people don't want to live here. That's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, Scotland's a very, very kind of special place for me, I think.
Yeah, 100%. So what is the sort of? I know. Get back up there as soon as the weather gets good. Yeah. What is the sort of future for you look like in terms of goal setting? What are your goals and aspirations? Playing, coaching, YouTube.
So certainly playing wise and content wise, that's all linked in as far as Quest for the Open's concerned. Sure. To be honest, it's a difficult one because I don't have I don't so much have an exit plan. So I think with most jobs that I've had, I think I've always looked forward to saying, oh, this would be the way out type of thing. But with this, I'm enjoying it so much. I don't really know. I just want to carry on the journey and see what happens. As long as I can stay abreast of what people want to watch, then I can do that. And that's for me is the biggest challenge. It's making the content that I want to make, but it's also recognizing that people might want to see some different things as well. So it's trying to stay abreast of what subscribers and what people do want to watch. And that's one of the reasons why I'm starting to do more equipment videos, is because there's a massive interest in equipment, and it's a side of videos I've just not explored before. What that looks like going forward, 5-10 years, I don't know. And in many respects, I don't care. Like, I think if I can keep taking it kind of week by week, month by month, and not look too far ahead, then I can't lose my focus, which I'm prone to do in many other aspects of my life. So if as long as I keep focused on what I'm doing in the here and now, that seems to be working. That seems to be working well. But future plans for the channel and growth. I've kind of launched my own podcast now. That's something I've always been interested in. I think from a travel perspective, I'm probably going to be doing less. I want to spend a little bit more time at home, and as we've just spoken about, a little bit more time kind of exploring Scotland and exploring Britain and where I live. There's so many. I think one of the most underappreciated thing is there's so many great courses, on my doorstep that I've just not played. I've not experienced, and I don't particularly know why. So I want to spend a little bit more time doing that, and I want to spend a little bit more time in the States and in Canada as well. Never been to Canada before.
You would like it. You definitely like it.
Yep, it's a great place to visit. It's a great place to, obviously, anytime really mid-May to sort of mid-September.
July and August.
Yeah, July and August would be a little better.
You're being generous. Well, I'm just saying, if he's going to come for his very first time, I'd like to have Canada put its best foot forward. July and August.
Yeah, I think coming from the UK though,
that's true.
It's an elongated summer in Canada versus, I know what you're saying. The best of it is in those months, but coming from the UK, I think people would look at it as like, this is really nice.
I mean,
this
it's
is
hot.
Really
it's hot in May and June too. You're right. September's nice too. Yeah, some fall leaves. But yeah, we'll find a time where we can get you over here for some golf.
Yeah,
take a look at your clubs even.
I know. Get you set up to a Blue Jays game in the summer and do all the fun stuff. It's a great city, Pete. You'd love it. Yeah. You really would.
Oh, mate. Honestly, love to come up there. I'd love to come visit and get a proper fitting. The amount of messages that I got as soon as I said I was doing this Build the Bag series, like the amount of messages about getting over to see you guys was unbelievable.
It's probably a bit annoying after a while. I'd be like, okay, guys, I get it. I heard
it. It's kind of like one of those things where, like, well, you know what it was? It was like how we spoke about like before about people watching the videos and coming in for lessons. Yeah. One of the things which has always confused me is the amount of people that I get from Europe coming for lessons, the amount of people that I get especially from Scotland, driving down from Scotland for lessons. And it's always struck me as crazy the amount of pros, the amount of really good coaches which sit in between the distance that they've traveled to get to me. But when people started to message me about you guys, it's exactly the same thing. You guys there have an amazing setup. Are you going to be able to fit me into irons better than the fitters at Mizuno? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. But people who watch your content and who trust what you're doing, for them, there's no question. It's like you've got to go see the guys at TXG. They are the best because they've got that trust, and it's a powerful thing, and it's maybe a little bit underappreciated. Certainly from my side, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think when someone sets their mind on a brand, though, like you just knew that Mizuno was the way you were going to go.
True enough.
I think what you done was the right thing. I think if someone sets their mind that I'm just go to that brand.
You said that about Titleist,
because they understand right? They understand their product the best. Yeah, we understand their product, and we understand how their product performs relative to all the other brands around it, and we understand its strengths and its weaknesses, and that's where our strength lies in the brand agnostic approach. But when it comes to you wanted Mizunos, go to Mizuno. Bearwood Lakes is incredible. The fitters there are great. I know Alex Thorne spends some time there, and when he's off the tour, Alex and I work together at TaylorMade. He's a great friend, and it's a phenomenal facility. So I think you've done the absolute right thing.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got a great fitting for your irons. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it is one of the things where at the moment I think a lot of the brands, and I'm sure you guys are finding this. In so many of the categories now, from driver through to irons, realistically, you could get someone coming in for a fitting, and you could fit them into several different irons which perform pretty much the same. There's no weak clubs out there anymore. No. There's certain clubs that are obviously going to suit people better than others, but there's no crap clubs. This isn't. No, it's not like it used to be. I mean, even Mizuno are producing good drivers now. Like
I know
that. Like what the hell's going on if that's happening? We are truly in an age of everyone producing great clubs if that's happening.
It's so true. I mean, everyone has so much sort of R&D capabilities now. You can take anyone's product, cut it up and down the middle, and see the secret sauce of what makes a sim driver so good, and what makes a Maverick so fast, and things like that. So we're at an age where technology has moved so far down the line. It's going to be tough for them to push it significantly further. We've done a test today, Pete, with you'll remember the sort of dark blue Callaway Big Bertha Alpha, with the one with the gravity core that you can flip around. We done a test with that today. Realistically, shot for shot against the one we've just fit Matt to, is Maverick. It was exactly the same on the best ones.
Best one, yeah. If you isolated best swing with each one, the results were exactly disturbingly similar. But I mean, that's why it's incremental over the years. I think now it's more about consistency. If you miss it one a bit, how good is that? Those things have come far. but it's, you know, the middle hit with a great swing.
Yeah.
In the last 8 years, is it really that different? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe
Not crazy.
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, if you think about where we were, you know, 7-8 years ago, bear in mind, 7-8 years ago, we were producing, the golf community, we were producing drivers which were made illegal because they were going too far. You know, we've already been past the legal limit.
Yeah, for sure. They're
how fast
capable of it.
100%. You know, so they're capable of pushing it past there. Now it's trying to find. What I've really found certainly this year is companies try and find a good story to tell behind the product, and that's what people are buying into, because people realize at the end of the day, you get a ping, you get a Titleist, you get a TaylorMade, you get a good fitter. They're all going to go pretty much the same distance. So I think that's the difficulty that the companies are finding. I think they'd probably benefit if it was rolled back. You know, it'd allow them to tell a whole new story and produce whole new clubs, really.
It would be a shakeup, that's for sure.
Yeah, certainly would change things, and not sure. I mean, I spoke to a few companies about it, and you know, even just the dialing back the golf ball and changing that for the amateur golfer. I just personally feel that the golfer, the average man on the street, needs all the help they can get still. I just don't think they need to dial or anything back, and you know, I honestly think there should be a point where, you know, the average golfer should be able to play a wedge that spins a little bit more, because realistically, those old grooves, they weren't wildly different from what they are now. Yeah. We've tested conform and non-conform.
True enough.
It's not 25% more spin. It's 4 or 5%.
Especially for someone who isn't a tour player. Maybe it's 10% for the tour player, but it's not 10% for a 10 handicap.
Yeah, let's make the game easier. Let's make people enjoy it more. Let's attract people to it. Let's not turn them away from it. I mean, all of those things are so true.
Don't make it harder. It's hard enough.
Yeah.
Nah, make it harder. Make it harder. I'm a sadist. Grow that rough up.
Oh boy.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, Sandy Lyle. I remember hearing him say that when they brought in sort of hybrids and they started making long irons. I mean, he said when he played at his best, Tom Weiskopf and Jack Nicklaus were the only ones who could flight these 1 and 2 iron blades, and they had such an advantage over everyone else. The day that they changed and we started making hybrids, and you know, people with less speed could launch and spin it and have ball speed retention on mishits the way they couldn't do it with those old blades. He's like, I lost my competitive advantage and I fell into the pack. And I can understand what you're saying as someone who's a good ball striker like you are, a pure striker. You know, you kind of want it to be a purist game. You know, you want to have that advantage over others.
You've been fooled by my editing. You're not the first, and you won't be the last.
We've got to keep the illusion alive, though, don't we?
Everyone, there's illusion everywhere. What can you do?
I know.
No, but you are right. It has definitely, certainly in the professional game, it's not lifted the best players any higher. It's lifted the pack behind the best players. You know, your Tiger Woodses are always going to be the best no matter what era they play. And he's proved that by the fact that he has been good over multiple eras. But yeah, it's definitely raised the ability levels and the forgiveness levels of those clubs, so the people who don't strike it quite as pure can get up to that level. I think for many amateurs, I think the situation that many amateurs have been in, that hasn't actually changed, in respects that people still buy clubs hoping that it's going to fix what problems they may have, where you know, it's at the end of the day, we all know that the clubs play a part, but it's the underlying technique, unfortunately, does need to change if they want to see that long lasting improvement. But it's a lot easier to buy a driver rather than fix a driver swing.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's kind of, you know, we see him play the role of, we always say we're 75% club fitters, 25% instructor, from the viewpoint of how do we read the situation. So we have to understand the technical elements that create the shot from a swing standpoint, but we have to know the role the club is playing in terms of that shot as well. And I think instructors, you know, flip that around, and they have to know the swing, but they also have to go, well, how much is the swing and how much is the club? Is that club playing a big part in terms of the player not being able to hit the shot that they're trying to hit? So, you know, everything's important, you know, and we've talked a lot recently about the sort of people using data now more than ever, Arcos, things like that, in order to learn more about their own games. I think that's going to be a real frontier that allows people to drive that handicap down.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an interesting one as people get some of the experiences I've had with people getting more access to technology, more understanding how to actually, assess their own data. It's also what they do with it. I've had a few people come in who've had very, very wild ideas about maybe where their game is at in comparison to like the readings that they take. The data is fantastic, but it's got to be interpreted through in the right hands, because if not, it can be crazy. I've seen people with launch monitors come up with some crazy ideas about what they should be doing with a technique. So it's understanding that side of things. And again, it's, for anybody kind of watching and listening, it's, it's a mantra that I try and hammer home as much as possible, but, go see a pro, go see a fitter, don't rely and don't interpret that information yourself. There's no point. Get an expert to do it for you. It's a lot less of a headache.
Yeah, it's a shortcut, isn't it? It's a lot kind of shorter road to that improvement if you do that.
Yeah, it's just seeing experts as well. It's if you've got something wrong with you, you go see a doctor. Don't go on the internet. Don't go on YouTube.
It's true. No WebMD. It's so true.
Very true.
There you go. That's the big takeaway I think I found from this. That's
I agree with
the
that.
big message. Don't go on YouTube. Go to
unless it's to watch
these
Peter
two
Finch's channel.
Unless it's to watch these two. Yeah, absolutely. We're the only two trusted experts that you can trust.
Exactly. Amen. Well, Pete, we really appreciate your time. It's been great to finally catch up with you and kind of see how you're doing and sort of hear your journey. We're in our own journey with this thing, very much in its infancy, and yourself and Rick and Mark and the people that we kind of chat to have been a big influence on us and the things that we do, and we try and evolve. So we appreciate what you do, and we appreciate your time.
No, thanks for having me on. And it's like I said, it's the journey. The journey never ends. You're going to get to the end of a road, and all of a sudden there's going to be a roundabout, and you just got to decide which exit you're going to take. But yeah, no, thanks so much for having me on. Sorry for blathering on at certain points and forgetting what the hell we were talking about.
It's all good. It was good. No, enjoyed it. It was all really good stuff.
All right, buddy. We'll take care, and we'll definitely talk to you down the road.
Thanks, Pete.
Cool.
Thanks, Pete.
Cheers, guys. Stay safe.
Pal. Okay, guys. So that was Mr. Peter Finch. Again, another fascinating insight into someone's journey to into this weird world that is YouTube and sort of becoming a YouTuber while still having aspirations in other parts of your life. It's so unpredictable.
I think if there's anything in common so far with anyone in this space we've talked to, it's the fact that all these stories are a little bit alike. No one, I don't think that we've talked to yet went, I'm going to start a YouTube channel from day one. They all sort of got into coaching, or they got into equipment, and then something happened to them, or something sort of steered them in the direction where they thought, maybe I'll try starting a YouTube channel. And they've all sort of progressed slowly with it. So I think that's my takeaway was, the thing with YouTube is it's the only platform like it where you can actually cut your teeth on it. You can start, you don't have to wait until you're the very best at it. You can actually just get started and develop. So his story was really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, one thing we touched on during the podcast was like how I still call like social media the Wild West. Like you could start YouTube but still not really make anything of it, or you could in a way get lucky and take off. Not get lucky, but you work hard enough and it takes off. So for people who want to start a YouTube channel tomorrow on knitting for cats, I mean, they might make millions of dollars. But
for cats,
you know what I mean? Like it's so hard to like predict, whether. I still don't think the world knows how strong social media is, even though we use it every single day.
Fraction, the utilization is fractional compared to the potential on it. Interesting, during the lockdown period right now, I think more people are embracing content and
for sure
how to connect and communicate, and I think they're finally sort of going, wow, this is a hugely powerful tool.
Absolutely.
In a time where your brand would be hurting and sort of losing value in the stock market of this world.
True.
You're gaining value, and when the world reopens, you're going to be in a significantly better place.
Well, it's the thing is, it's like if you've never done it, I think, as you said, reaching out to someone who has for a little bit of help. How did you get started? Or, you know, can I come on your podcast? Can I be a part of something? It's a good time to at least develop the possibility of it. See if it's for you. I mean, I think part of the issue, and people ask me constantly, like, how do you start a YouTube channel? How do you do this? I think people also, there's two sides to it. Don't be afraid to do it. But some people should also think, like, maybe it's not the best fit for me given these circumstances, or maybe my brand is more suited to, you know, Instagram or something. I think it's a good opportunity to give it all some thought, but don't assume you can't, and don't assume that, you know, this is the shortcut for you to be successful. There's, you know, there's layers to the whole thing for sure.
I think as well with this type of thing is, if someone has one go at it, they turn the camera on, they kind of fumble over their words a few times. Oh, that's just this YouTube thing, just not for me. I'm no good at this thing. The reality is, the first few golf shots you hit are crap, and you know you kind of duff them along the ground, and you do nothing that resembles what looks like a decent golf shot. That's like making the first couple of YouTube videos. You're going to be not very good, and then you'll progressively get better. It's an evolution that everyone's going to take. You know, as long as you don't expect to do it like a tour pro or someone who's an A-list day one, it's not going to happen.
So true. And then it's like golf. The first time you pure a 7-iron and hit a green, you go, oh man, this is doable. I like this. It's like the first time you make a decent video and people like it. It's the same experience.
Becomes addictive.
I think the one last thing is, everyone that we've chatted to during this time have all said that they've been able to reflect, and they've been able to do extra work that they normally don't do on their day-to-day life. And I can, you know, attest to that. You know, you guys can. We're able to go through emails or organize for when we're back to normal, you know, for us, getting a build shop ready and getting a new facility ready and making sure customers are safe. So
it's definitely a lesson that in a bad situation, you can make something of a bad situation. You don't have to take a bad situation and let something happen to you.
It's true. Try to make the best of whatever you're given. I mean, everyone's being given a bad situation, some worse than others, but that's the thing. You have to find something to get out of it, hopefully.
Exactly. We know what's coming on the other side of this. There's going to be a rebound. There is going to be sort of people who are out again and have freedom, and they're sort of thankful and grateful for it more so than they were before.
It's true.
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
That is a very good thing to have sort of a realization that life is actually really pretty good.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
Okay, guys, that is number 6 of season 2 in the bag.
Enjoyed it.
Really good. Next week we've got some good stuff, some more maybe technical conversations. We're going to be in with Kim Braley and TK from KBS.
That's right. Yeah.
Looking forward to diving into product with them, and you know, Kim has some incredible insight into the evolution of shaft technology, steel shaft. He and his father, and the role they played in developing you know, the frequency scale. Dr. Kim Braley was the first person to bring frequency matching to the PGA Tour and things like that. So it's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Awesome. And Mark Crossfield is our next guest, actually. So you will have some interesting stuff coming up for sure. Cool. Look forward to it.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again soon.